ran into Keith David.
Please, what was this interaction like?
It was very brief. I almost hit him with my cart, and he said, "Oh no, go ahead, young lady." And I said, "Thank you." And then I went. His arms were behind his back, and he was perusing like just a man who had lived a fulfilling life.
I would have been like, "Mr. President," because he plays the president in Rick and Morty, the cartoon show.
Oh my God, I love that.
He's the voice of the president.
I didn't know that. I love that. Hey y'all, welcome back to Sip and Scream, the spookiest cocktail hour on YouTube, brought to you by Burton and Burton, not Tim.
That's right, where we dive into the deepest corners of horror and drink some drinks. Drinks. So, the drink for the movie that we concocted is called the Flamethrower. Well, cheers here because
boom.
Also,
cheers to you.
McCready, he's seemingly drinking whiskey out of a green bottle. And so we're taking a shot of whiskey on his behalf. And also we added a little bit of a mixture, which you can catch the ingredients at the end of the video.
Yep, so cheers, the Flamethrower, in honor of the thing. Let's get started.
Oh yeah.
That's good.
Okay, so for this video, we are recapping The Thing. It's a classic. Patty, set it up.
Okay, so check it out. We're jumping back into 1982, and there's a thing that has fallen from space and is now on the loose in the rural parts of
Antarctica.
We love a setting.
Ice Baby.
Ice Baby, where our scientists stumble upon something that is wreaking havoc on the base camp there. As the night unfolds, we find out that not only are these men in danger, but that the sole responsibility of saving the earth relies on them. Also, Kurt Russell looked good. I'm not gonna lie, there was something very familiar about his hotness.
He was like giving.
I didn't realize I probably had a suppressed childhood crush on him that came back when I saw the film.
Yeah. He's very rugged and attractive in this movie. Gotta give it to him.
And he had some cute black friends too. We
love
that.
Keith David, staple in the black entertainment space. You know, he is Mr. Shadow Man in Princess and the Frog.
Yes.
He is a cop in Volcano, which is what I like. I love him in Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. He's also the dad in Nope.
Yes.
At the beginning, opening.
And he is also a neighbor of mine. I ran into him.
What?
I ran into Keith David.
Please, what was this interaction like?
It was very brief. I almost hit him with my cart, and he said, "Oh no, go ahead, young lady." And I said, "Thank you." And then I went, and then he smiled like, "You know who I am." And then he kept walking, and his arms were behind his back, and he was perusing like just a man who had lived a fulfilling life.
I would have been like, "Mr. President," because he plays the president in Rick and Morty, the cartoon show.
Oh my God, I love that.
He's the voice of the president.
I didn't know that. I love that. Yeah, well, he was acting like the president. He was strolling through that. He was strolling through that route like he was strolling down the block. Okay, he said, "I have made my money. I am living in peace.
Residuals all day."
Okay.
And like he was so young. Did he have an earring? Am I mistaken by his earring?
And he didn't have any grays.
Did he have an earring in this movie?
Oh, I didn't notice. Let's cut to let's see if he had an earring.
Did he have an earring? Well, we'll see.
Well, there it is.
There it is.
What were your initial thoughts, and did those happen to change as the movie unfolded?
Well, my initial thoughts were, oh wow, this is 80s. This is definitely an 80s flick. It was giving 80s for sure. Honestly, like, I was getting a little confused with the other white men in the movie. Like, okay, there's Palmer, and there's Bennings, and Gary, and Clark, and
names
for me, for
Same
the most
face.
part. But then you had, like, Keith David, who we've mentioned, but then also, like, the other guy on the roller skates. I think his name was Niles in the movie. The cast was widespread, even though, like, the white men were, like, a little... It's like, is that John Goodman? No, it's not John Goodman. He's not in this movie. Anyway, sorry. At the opening, I was like, are they shooting that dog? Like, I was taking much offense to the dog killing, but then it made sense when we cut to...
No, same. He had to answer the whole time.
Dog.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, remember that? Honestly, my initial thought too, when I saw the spaceship coming into Earth, I was like, oh God, this is giving Mars Attack. I was like, oh, I don't know if I have the capacity to sit through an 80s sci-fi comedy right now. But as soon as we got to Earth, I felt like the cinematic quality just hit. Those shots from the helicopter, I was like, oh. It was giving drone, and we know they weren't using drones then. So I was like, okay, I was pleasantly surprised. And I will say this film did not disappoint all the way through. Sometimes I feel like I get a high setup and then I get dropped, like, okay. But this, I was like, I had high hopes coming in, and to the very end, I was like, oh, this movie is still giving. Because there were parts where I was like, I wouldn't even know how to shoot this. Like, the aliens coming from a small being to being 4 times its size. Everything was just, like, slimy. I was just like, wow.
There was one part where one of the white guys had become the Thing, and it looked similar to the worm thing in Beetlejuice, which I'll do like a side-by-side so you can see. But Beetlejuice, like, in the later 80s, so it's almost like they used this thing to replicate that in the Beetlejuice. And I don't know if that's fact or, accurate, but like, it reminded me
there were
of
elements.
For sure. That's a testament too to just, like, its time, right? Like 1982, and they're doing these amazing graphics and amazing just
that's what I'm saying,
gory elements.
And it was really cool as far as there are elements of folklore to me in it. I don't know if they did it on purpose because it was alien, but the idea of something being able to mimic, and that's they were saying mimic DNA and reproduce, and it was getting better and better as time went on. But that's also a concept I have been learning that's in, like, indigenous folklore, of, like, this creature that comes and appears to be as your loved one or somebody you know. So I thought that was really ahead of the game, like, for a sci-fi thriller to be doing something like that in the 80s.
What was the part that was most shocking to you?
Ooh, okay. I think the first shocking part was the damn dog. And how big that alien got outside of that tiny body. I was like, also shocking how well behaved them dogs were. They were trained, okay? Because the other dogs
you gotta be in Antarctica.
You know, they were top tier. And them other dogs was looking at him like, nigga, you something wrong. And I was like, this is top tier acting.
The one dog was, like, trying to bite his way out of the cage.
Yes.
That, like, broke my heart.
I was like, I love top tier acting of canines. So that was my first shocking moment. And then it was when the dog became what it was. Because, like I said, when I first saw the movie, I was like, when it started, it was giving 80s.
McCready, not Russell Crowe. I always call Kurt Russell Crowe.
Oh, no.
Maybe. But anyways, Clark pushes him out of the way to not shoot his dog. Like, he was, like, trying to save his dog. But the dog was already gone.
Dog was gone. That was an alien.
Like, strapped.
Demon. What was the most shocking moment for you?
Okay, here's another jump scare too. When Kurt Russell, not Russell Crowe, he had them all tied up in that room and was making them all give blood samples. And he was like, the monster doesn't care about blood tissue. Or something. And he was like lighting that piece of wire on fire and testing all the blood samples. And he was like, I know it's you, Gary. And sure enough, it wasn't Gary. It was the guy before Gary.
It wasn't Gary.
And like, he just puts it in the blood sample and it just like freaks out. Oh, that got me.
Yes.
I jumped for sure.
I think a funny part for me was just when the black guy didn't die first. And I got really happy. I was like, oh my God. Okay, yes.
All right,
work.
82, not cliche.
Right. I was like, come through. They already knew back in the day. Why haven't people been following this model? But yeah, that was like a glorious moment. Like, I was like, oh my God, yay. And then I started laughing because I was like, wow, I didn't know it meant so much to me that a black guy didn't die first.
Right.
So I thought that was like funny, but it was not because of the movie. It was just because of how strong my reaction was. Because
Let's
honestly,
get rid of all the white guys that look alike first. They don't even look alike. They don't. So a thing, I don't want to say conspiracy, but a point of contention at the end of the movie is, because it's just Childs, Keith David's character, and McCready, Kurt Russell, not Russell Crowe's character, are the last two men standing.
I like this, yeah.
And so there's a big conspiracy about if one of them are actually the thing.
Right.
And it's divisive and it's divided, and some people think Childs is the thing, and some people think Kurt is the thing. Or some people think neither. They both survived and they're just
right. Well, I was trying to picture myself, right, as if I was in that situation. And I'm like, do you know when you're the thing? You know, like, do you realize when you got when it's in your blood and it's starting to
No, because you're trying to manipulate at that point. You're trying to fool people.
This is why I thought it was Kurt Russell. Because I just thought he had such a master plan brain. He strapped himself with that dynamite but enough dynamite to make sure that no one blows him up because they would blow themselves up in the process. I was like, that's a smart ass alien. But you know, I think the way my anxiety set up, I would have thought I was an alien. I wasn't.
And there was that whole point where they were like, okay guys, stop. You can't share food, you can't share drinks,
right?
Because it can be transmitted that way, like by any like molecule of cell, the thing can replicate into you. So at the end, when he has the bottle and he passes it to Childs and Childs takes it.
Oh my God!
It's like if it was the real Childs, he wouldn't have taken it because he was like, oh shit, maybe you're the thing. Maybe he trusted that Kurt wasn't the thing and they were like the last two survivors, though.
Yeah, because he was the leader. So maybe I would have, and honestly,
you trusted him.
I would have trusted him. But also at that point, I'd been like, fuck it. Am I going to starve out here or am I going to drink after this alien?
Am I going to starve? Am I going to freeze to death? Or am I going to become an alien?
After you'd have been through so much, you know.
I guess I would try not to be the alien to not like progress the alien virus further.
Right.
Or have it happen to somebody else.
And be blown up by the military later on. So, I will say this. For those of you watching, tell us what you think in the comments. Did the alien...
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
This is the first time we've watched this movie ever.
Yeah. You know, and I think it's fun. I'm glad we did. It was a lot funner than I expected, to be honest.
Okay, should we do our ranking? 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, let's do our
3,
ranking.
2, 1 rank.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
8.
9. Ours are always pretty close. Yeah. Okay, why 8?
Okay. I see why it's ranked high, why it's a classic, why it has just like deep-seated elements of horror.
Mm-hmm.
Very unique. But for the time period, amazing. Just even the casting and the special effects, amazing. But I still think it all equals up to be an 8.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that because, like we said, we do not discuss this prior. I don't know what she's gonna rank. I don't even know her thoughts. She doesn't know mine. So I think that's pretty telling. I think it's pretty telling. I give it a 9. I give it a 9, maybe 8.59. But because I was pleasantly surprised, like I truly, well, and it's funny because I was gonna like reference Mars Attack again. I love
Mars Attacks. But to your point,
I love Mars Attack, but it's a comedy.
Horror comedy.
And so, yeah, it's a horror comedy. And when I tell you I thought it was going to be that, and then it wasn't. And it pleasantly surprised me because also I just think, I don't know, it was really important for me to just see Black men treated as human. As just one of the guys, like
equals,
as just equals, and they made it to the end just like anyone else as far as like numbers goes, right? Like it was any man's game, and I really appreciated that. Like I love filmmaking. I can watch a film with no Black people and love it, but it is nice to watch films with people of color and not feel
like they're gonna get taken out in the first 5 minutes.
See, I'm like, okay, another piece of film reminding me I'm useless or worthless, you know, like
a plot device. They don't,
right. And so I'm like, it was just nice, and it wasn't harped on, it wasn't talked about, it wasn't a thing. It was just like, these are guys, they don't have the virus, they live. And kudos to the art department, kudos to special effects, graphics, all that shit. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Yeah,
and Kurt Russell was hot. So.
I agree. We recently watched a movie with Kurt Russell's son.
Yes, we did.
And also, I just watched a series with Kurt Russell and Kurt Russell's son, where Kurt Russell's son plays the younger version of Kurt Russell.
Oh, wait, what is that? You were telling me about that.
It's it's on Apple TV. Great show, Godzilla universe.
Oh yeah,
King Kong universe.
Oh my God, yes.
Monarch.
Something. That's Kurt
Monarch.
Russell.
And like. And his son, Wyatt, plays the... Anyway, sorry.
Well, guys, that was our review on The Thing. So leave a comment down below if you've seen it. What were your thoughts? What were your takeaways? Where did you laugh? Where did you cry? Where were you shocked? Where did you jump? Let us know. Because, hey, we love doing this. We love sipping. We love screaming with y'all. And until next time.
Burton and Burton out.
Burton and Burton out.